Hello and welcome to Digit. In this video, we'll be unboxing a motherboard. This is the Gigabyte A320M-H. This is part of the Gigabyte Ultra Durable series or UD series, as you can see on the front. This is based on the A320 AMD chipset for socket AM4. Gigabyte has also mentioned a little note at the bottom stating which all processors are actually compatible with this particular motherboard. You have AMD Ryzen and AMD Athlon processors from the 1000 series, 2000 series, as well as from 3000 series. You should obviously always check the QVL list, that is the qualified vendor list of the Gigabyte motherboard, to understand exactly which all processors are supported and from which version of the BIOS onwards. Now, the right hand side just has the same branding as well as the name of the motherboard. Same goes for this side. You can install DDR4 memory on this motherboard, as well as you get the Gigabyte App Center utility software once you do install it and install Windows. On the back side of the packaging, you have a couple of features being highlighted. Let's go through those one by one. You have Realtek Gigabit Ethernet LAN ports on this motherboard. I guess just one LAN port. And it has CFOS Speed Internet Accelerator Networking. That's an additional software that you need to install. Then the M.2 NVMe slots. These things have 4 lanes of PCIe Gen 3, and it can support SSDs that are of 110 millimeter in length. Then you have SmartFan 5, which is one of the fan monitoring and controlling algorithms that is in the BIOS. You have 2 hybrid fan headers and 5 temperature sensors across the motherboard. It uses high quality capacitors for the audio part, and there's also audio noise guard, which means that the audio circuitry section is separate from the rest of the motherboard. As for the PCB itself, this uses humidity protection glass fiber PCB, and it also gives you some protection from short circuits. You can see how they've compared it with normal PCBs and the one that they've used on this board. Then the capacitor, or rather the resistors used on the motherboard, are anti-sulfur with the ultra durable design. The capacitors are rated for long lifespans, and this is an imagery of the I/O panel where you can see that they've put an HDMI port, a DVI-D port, 2 classic RS connectors, a couple of USB connectors, Ethernet port, and the audio assembly. Then you have the specifications at a glance. So let's go ahead with the unboxing. On the inside, you have a driver disk. Then you have the user manual. Always read through the user manual. Then you have 2 SATA cables. One of them has an L connector at the end. The other one is flat. Then you have the rear I/O shield. And lastly, this is the motherboard. It comes in an anti-static bag. You should always ground yourself before touching the motherboard. And you can see you have the 2 RAM slots. These have clips on just one end, or rather clips on both ends. Then you have the 24-pin motherboard power connector, 4 SATA ports for storage, couple of USB connectors on the bottom, the front panel header, USB 3.0 header, TPM module header. These are the 2 PCIe 2.0 X1 slots, and this is the PCIe 3.0 X16 or 16 lane slot, followed by the M.2 slot that's over here. Then you have the AM4 socket for the AMD Ryzen processors, and an 8-pin CPU power connector at the top. This is the audio circuitry portion that they had mentioned on the back of the packaging, and the chipset is behind this heatsink. Let's take a look at the I/O. For the I/O, you have the audio assembly on the right hand side, 2 USB 2.0 ports with a Realtek Gigabit Ethernet LAN port on the top, 4 USB 3.1 ports, 1 HDMI port. This is the DVI-D port, followed by 2 PS2 connectors on the extreme left. There's nothing on the back. So that's it for the unboxing of the Gigabyte A320M-H motherboard for AMD Ryzen processors. Thank you for watching.